freaking out about codex. So the whole appeal to codex is basically that it can use your computer and it has all your files and stuff, kind of like Cloud Code, but even more like infiltrated in your computer. Now the reason I'm worried about this is because AI has been getting progressively worse for the past couple of months, like Cloud Code for example. And instead of getting better at some specific functionality, I'm finding that actually they're just getting more or deeper infiltrated into what you use day to day, which is kind of terrifying because suddenly now they don't only have all of your ailments, all of your questions about your family, all of your code that you've ever written, but now they're going to have every file on your computer. So that's your financial data, your tech data, your family data, everything that you've ever had, and they're going to have access to it. And now the appeal here is that they're getting like good enough at one thing that they extrapolate into another. So like they get good enough at researching that they're like, oh, let's just write all your blogs. You're like, oh, cool. And it writes blogs and it's all right. You can use some SEO skills, and suddenly it's like, let's just write your whole website. Just give us all the code. Don't worry about it. Then you start getting used to it and just start being like, here's my financial decisions, or here's a little bit of my accounts. And, you know, I know that everyone's going to comment on this video and be like, oh, I don't give my data away. You know, say what you want. Most people are. I know they are for a fact. And the worrying thing is that this data is getting stored in the weights. And this is something you're not privy to. But, like, if they're going to train, or well, two things. One, if they're going to train their AI on your stuff, there's no evidence that they have because it generates stuff. So it could generate it for the first time ever. But really, it's been learning. And now we know that they do this because they're already going through copyright battles against books because they can automatically decide what's coming next. And so the problem here is that they can say that they're not training stuff on your data, but what does it matter what they say when a couple of years down the line they'll maybe have some sort of copyright legal battle? You can opt in, try and get a little bit of money, but by then they have all your data, everything you've possibly done, and they've reached into every facet of technology, your phone, your computer, every website you've built, every website you're in. And this is kind of worrying, mainly because like with Codex, I feel Claude Code was a layer down. So it was like chat interface, you have to upload files, right? Then it was like a layer down Claude Code. Suddenly everyone's entire code base has now been read by Anthropic, who are saying they're not working with the US government, but now they've read everyone's code base. And now Codex can generate really good images because they used Sora 2 to then generate a bunch of images, so they had more data made by users who in real time would say whether it was good or bad, so then they could have good and bad images, videos that they could run through to try to then train their models. Proprietary data, kind of like a mini YouTube or TikTok. And so then now they have this amazing infographic AI picture generator. Um, and the next layer now is this like computer control. So Claude Code was like moving off of the internet into your computer, and now it's in your computer using your code with Claude Code. And the browsing stuff, computer use wasn't really fully working, but now Codex is really trying to capture the whole thing, and so they're moving like a layer deeper, so that they're actually like in your computer. It's the same with co-work in a lot of ways as well. And so suddenly we're now in this weird space where AI is everywhere, and it's kind of competent at some automation tasks, but it's like touted as being the best thing ever at everything. But if you've been in my school community, you'll know I moan about it quite often, that it keeps giving me wrong results, emailing the wrong people, giving financial data to the wrong people, just wrong decisions all the time. So I'm a bit worried as to where it goes next, especially with this AI operating system stuff, which is kind of for another day. But what happens next? You know, it's like how many layers deep can they go before either the bubble bursts or they've got enough information that they can do what they choose to do next. Now, keep all this in mind as well that Sam Altman, if you didn't know his background, was looped or something. Basically, it was like a tracker, so it would track your phone where you were so that you could find your friends. Then he was in this whole thing of like the orb, where you would get your iris and it would scan your iris and give you cryptocurrency. And then obviously OpenAI. And that's just what I can think off top. But it's definitely sketchy beginnings. So beware out there.